What's poppin', internet? Welcome to another episode of the Synced Up Podcast, a show where we talk about news, games, and we sandwich a little fun in between. I'm one of your hosts, Timothy DeRoe, and joining me this week is number one Nintendo fan, Michael Clare.
I gave you a week to come up with a new title, and you bring me nothing.
I didn't even think about it, honestly, until like 5 seconds before the show started when you were like,
Did you ever think about me?
I mean, sometimes.
Damn.
Just occasionally. Today, we're going to talk about Halo Infinite coming out with monthly news from here on until release. 2 separate video games are being adapted into film or television show, and the reviews for the medium are in, including our own. But before we get into the show, a little bit of housekeeping for you. Join our community Discord in the show notes or the description on the YouTube video. There should be an invite link to our Discord. In that Discord, it is popping off. Today we were talking about the which barbecues are the best, whether vinegar is good or not.
Dogs and cats.
Dogs and cats. Is mac and cheese good with sour cream or milk instead? We talked about a lot of stuff in there. We're playing games. They play League all the time. We're playing other games. We talk about board games. We played chess. I bet money on a chess match versus Spencer. By the way, I won. Spencer, I love you, but you're going to have to up your game on chess.
Personalized happy birthday messages.
Oh, yeah. Personalized happy birthday. It's Fielding's birthday today. Happy birthday, Fielding. Congratulations to you for making it another year, I guess. I don't know. But enough of that. We're on YouTube. So if you're in the audio feed here, you can go onto our youtube.com/synceduppodcast and subscribe to our YouTube feed there. We don't just have the podcast there. We do an occasional impressions video. I know we haven't had one in a while. We were going to do one on the medium, but after playing it, I didn't think it would do well in that environment. I don't think horror games really would do well in that environment at all, period. So we didn't do an impressions video for the medium, but we will have an impressions video for Bowser's Fury, so get ready for that. And those are YouTube feed exclusive. So again, youtube.com/synceduppodcast. And if you are a regular YouTube or audio listener and you haven't went over there and at least like hit the sub button and the like button or whatever, at least go over there and drop us a sub. We're trying to get those numbers up. We're up to 163 now. That's 3 more than last week, and that's something that we'll take. If you are watching on YouTube and you think, you don't have YouTube Red and you don't want to have the YouTube video up all the time and you would like to listen to us in audio form, you can do that by searching Synced Up Podcast and looking for the blue and white logo in your favorite podcasting service. We are probably on there. If we are not, you can send us a message on our Twitter and whatnot and let us know that we're not on there, and we'll fix that. Both of those feeds get new episodes every Monday, 7 a.m. Central Time Zone. Gang. You can also write into the show at synceduppod@gmail.com to have your questions, comments, concerns, and games like Fielding did 2 weeks in a row read on the show, and we will play his game in the back half. It is the quote game. He put a quote from some random episode of the show, and we got to guess which one of us said it. You can also follow us on Twitter at synceduppod to stay up to date with all of our videos, whether it's an impressions video, a regular video, any new content, because we got some new podcast ideas coming down the pipeline. Anything going on there, you can follow that at synceduppod on Twitter. But let's get right into the show now. Enough of that there housekeeping. Done cleaning with that. Halo Infinite Sandbox launch content is in-game and being played daily. Halo Infinite's weapons and vehicles are all ready to go. This is by Hiram Cryer at Games Radar. The Halo Infinite development team has revealed that all the game's sandbox content, in quotes, for launch is already in the game and being played daily. A new post published on the Halo Waypoint blog highlights the work that Halo Infinite's sandbox team are doing around vehicles, weapons, abilities, and more. Lead sandbox designer Quinn Del Hoyo reveals that, quote, all of our launch content is in-game and being played daily, end quote. If you're wondering what a game's sandbox actually is, Del Hoyo also breaks down the development term in the blog post, quote, the game's sandbox refers to all the vehicles, equipment, weapons, and objects that players will interact with, end quote. The designer explains. Also, the sandbox includes all of the player systems and verbs like jump, run, health values, shield recharge times, etc. Simply put, the sandbox team has a lot on its plate. So taking Del Hoyo's previous comments in that context, Halo Infinite's weapons, vehicles, equipment, and abilities are all present in the game and being playtested by the dev team on a daily basis. Del Hoyo does add that the team has their hands full squashing bugs in the game sandbox so that it's all in an excellent state for launch. This is just the first in a very long line of gameplay updates for Halo Infinite, which will now be taking place on a monthly basis. 343 revealed earlier this week that they would begin talking more openly about their upcoming game, with the first update focusing on the sandbox environments. We can now expect to hear monthly updates on Halo Infinite in a similar capacity to this new update. Currently, Halo Infinite is slated to launch at some point in fall 2021 for PC, Xbox One, Xbox Series X, and the Series S. The sequel underwent a change in development leadership toward the end of last year, with former Bungie veterans of the original Halo trilogy being recruited to see the game through the finish line. So this is now part of the Inside Infinite updates coming once a month, every month until release date for Halo. trying to keep us on our toes here, keep us updated with what's going on with the game. You imagine after the critical and not commercial, a public response to the last update that we had.
I wish more teams would do this, the monthly update kind of thing. Mostly because it would give us news to talk about every week if more teams did this. But it's just it keeps me excited, right?
Mm-hmm.
The first time they did the developer update and they shared everything that they've been working on that month, it just got me super excited. That's why this game's like my number one game I'm looking forward to this year. But this kind of stuff just makes me feel good about the game.
Yeah, I do agree. It's nice to get these updates, especially with everyone being so iffy around the last update that we got back during that original Microsoft presentation that got us to actually see Halo Infinite for the first time. And there was, Craig, the grunt, or not the grunt, the brute, and all that stuff that we've seen everywhere, and all that stuff was going everywhere online, and everyone kind of was. There's a lot of backlash. Personally, not for me. I was excited. I thought it was fine. I did think it didn't look that next gen, but
I think that was most people's problem, was that it didn't feel
next gen.
Yeah. When you're looking at some of these other titles that are being announced for next gen, it just kind of fell short of what people expected. And I think the dev team realized that too.
I agree.
And so they took that opportunity to push it back and
I do
a better game.
I don't necessarily know if I agree with more developers doing this. I think it's specifically in this case with 343 and the Halo game. I think it makes sense here with that response that we had and them delaying the game a full year. Halo has to hit. This game cannot miss. Microsoft really needs this to hit.
Maybe not for like every game. Something story driven like the Medium. You don't need that. But something that's huge multiplayer game, huge, already understood conceptually wise how the game works.
Yeah.
Things like this work. Like Diablo could do something like this.
Yeah.
Diablo, I think they do.
They kind of do a little bit, not to this degree.
But you know what I'm saying?
Do.
Games like that are like, people know what the game is and what it's going to be. They just want to know how far along you are, what's been working on.
Yeah.
What can we expect to change a little bit in between? That's not going to spoil the game, and it doesn't.
Yeah.
It's just reinforcing that hype you have for it.
Yeah.
I think it's a good move from them, and I'm excited.
I am excited whenever Halo finally releases on the Xbox Series X and Series S and the old gen consoles as well. I will be playing it along with Chance and you. I imagine
I might take a day off.
I might take a day off work as well. Playing that story, hopefully you can do 4-player co-op like in some of the older games.
Awesome.
That'd be nice. Obviously we're gonna hop into multiplayer games, and
of course,
and you can expect us to give our thoughts in that come the fall. We still don't have a solid date for it, but I think that's okay, and I think we just wait and deliver it when it's ready, especially after the Cyberpunk fiasco.
Yeah.
I'm more about delivering games when they're ready nowadays.
I think especially right now, a lot of devs are like, we can delay our game and not see backlash.
Because
like Returnal did it, nobody cared.
Yeah, because people seen what happened with Cyberpunk, so people are more apt to allow delays to happen. But let's hop off that train. Let's talk about the here and now. A game came out this week. The Medium. This is a review roundup of what critics are saying at IGN, GameSpot, and more. This is by Christopher Grew at Newsweek. He did this little compilation for us. So got 3 reviews here for you. A couple on the high end, one on the low end. There were more on there, but they were quite long, so I didn't want to dwell on it for too long. But the Gamer gave it a 5 out of 5 stars from Bella Blondeau. Quote, "The Medium itself never hits a flat note. I beat the game in 2 long sittings, and there was never a point during either that I felt like the game dragged or could have used a little more polish or left too many loose ends hanging. It's a lean, compelling experience that says what it has to say, then leaves you to grapple with specifics afterwards. There are images, lines, and ideas from the Medium that I'll likely take to my grave thanks to this approach, as it puts the onus on the player to piece everything together. You have to wrap your brain around the spirit world's twisted logic so much that it becomes a part of you as you live through Marianne's pain with her and to help navigate her trauma. Much like Marianne's past, don't expect the Medium to leave your head anytime soon." GameSpot gave it a 9 out of 10 from Jordan Ramey. "The Medium's conclusion sticks with you. It's one last horrifying reminder that trauma may not define a person, but it can have consequences we can't even begin to foresee if it's not adequately dealt with and simply left to fester over time. I can't say I enjoyed the ending to The Medium, but I am deeply satisfied with how it sets up the inescapable nature of its horrifying conclusion." Game Informer, 6.75 out of 10, lower end from Ben Reeves here. "It's unfortunate that The Medium's narrative doesn't shine because a solid story may have pulled me through its uninspired gameplay. As Marianne communes with the dead, she is occasionally tasked with solving simple puzzles such as rerouting the power to a car lift or finding the missing pieces to a broken mirror. Sadly, only a small handful of these puzzles ask the player to look for clever solutions." So you have reviews all over the place. The Metacritic is currently sitting at a 75 out of 100. That is an okay score in the modern landscape. You got a lot of people on the high end, you got a lot of people on the low end, and it's kind of hitting all over the map. So I think this is where we should give our thoughts because I have played the Medium.
I'm about halfway through, I think.
I beat it today. I enjoyed the medium. I do think I would give it, ultimately, my final thoughts, a 7 out of 10. I think it could hit that 8 out of 10 mark for me, but there is specific archaic game design things that they do in that control scheme and in that old school horror style of a fixed camera.
Yeah.
There hasn't been a lot of modernization of that type of game done in the game space.
Like I think it's okay for a game to use archaic elements and things from older, the past of a genre, but they need to
modernize it.
Reinvent it almost and make it feel new. Yeah. Because there are a lot of moments there where I'm like, it just feels old, you know?
Yes, it does feel old. When walking from one room into another and you go from one fixed camera angle to a new fixed camera angle and then your character ends up turning around and then you walk back into the other room. It's the classic problems you have with those old school games. They're not as bad here, but they still exist.
And I do agree with Ben here on the puzzles. I feel like the puzzles themselves are
pretty simple.
Yeah, very simple, very linear. Like you just go you just kind of follow where it's taking you. Later, it doesn't feel like I'm having to branch off and really discover how to fix this
later
problem.
In the game, they do a couple of puzzles that feel a little bit more complex. No spoilers, but there's one where you have to mess with water levels in different areas, and you have to open valves and close valves and do this thing, and that kind of gets a little bit more in depth instead of as linear, because you can mess it up and then be like, oh, I need to go back and change this, and you can do that there. And also, I think the puzzles really shine the most when you go into the dual spirit world and material world. That is the one problem I had with the medium, is its main mechanic that was the draw for me, which is the spirit world and main world. When your character splits and you have a split screen of one character in the spirit world, one person in the main world, it renders both of those worlds at the same time. You can do different things in each. You walk together, you can separate each body and do different things. Like you learn a lot of stuff there, and it really evolves those puzzles. Those are my favorite parts, but I don't think the game really uses that enough. I don't think it fully embraces those puzzles, and there's not very many of them, and that's my biggest problem.
I think my other problem, and I know we're kind of hampering on the problems right now, is every time I felt like I've made a mistake, it wasn't my fault really. It felt like the game's mechanics, or it could be the point of view.
Like when running from the monster, and just getting caught because you're like, I don't know why I got caught, because I thought I did everything perfectly, or you just ran into a wall because the game's mechanics were kind of fighting against you.
There's some stealth stuff you kind of have to do, and you never really know if you're actually like doing it correctly. Am I in a safe spot? Like, because there's not a lot of indication of that you're doing something correctly.
Yes, I do agree.
Like I got an achievement for successfully escaping them all
without
catching his attention.
Yeah, and I thought I did that.
Yeah,
and didn't get the achievement.
It's just kind of confusing on some things like that. So I wish there was better there. But I've enjoyed the story so far.
I do enjoy the story.
I kind of like how the spirits work in it. I don't want to get too spoilery. And I think it's worth playing.
Yeah.
It's pretty short.
It's not too crazy. If you are not a fan of jump scares, this game doesn't really rely on a lot of
playing it. I'm known for being the biggest wuss in the house, and I'm getting through it fine.
Yeah, it doesn't rely on jump scares like a lot of horror games do. It nails the atmosphere, really. I think that's one positive we can give it. I think the medium nails the atmosphere. Chance agreed with us on that. I should have asked Chance for a write-up, but he said something that I pretty much agree with. He gave it a 7 out of 10, and he said that he thinks that if Blooper Team sticks with this IP and makes another one, that they really can nail that down and make a much better game, because there are some rough edges that can be smoothed out, and there's a lot of things that can be done, and you can tweak the narrative, make a new narrative, do whatever you want. But I think there's mad potential in this franchise.
They're really good at building the atmosphere.
I agree,
because I've been in constant fear of the monster, whatever you want to call him, just being around the corner.
Yeah,
and I think they've done a good job of that, because sometimes you can hear him in the distance. Sometimes he'll just be somewhere around you and you just don't know where he is. That's what's scary. And they usually feed off that to kind of build your suspense, and I think that's a good job. And they just need to play in that some more. And I agree, if they update the mechanics, it'll be a much better game. I agree. And I agree with Chance. They could pull a Supergiant and make a similar game and just learn from it.
This is they say at the end of the game, they pop up a splash image like, hey, this is the most ambitious game that Blooper Team has done. This is the biggest game. We've worked years and years on this. And they ask you like, hey, will you review it? And they send you a direct link to bring up the Xbox menu and you can review it. And so they really say like, hey, this is our biggest thing, because Blooper Team, they did the Blair Witch game, and I'm not sure what else they did. Jordan, if you could look up
one other horror game.
If you could look up for me, Blooper Team. They did the Blair Witch game, which came out a couple of years ago, and that game I did not like. It had a lot of problems, very confusing.
But a lot of people didn't love it.
There were people who loved it. It was blatantly obviously an indie game, and I had a lot of problems with just where was I supposed to go. I was lost so often. And I guess that's part of the Blair Witch aesthetic, but it really didn't do it for me. But I think Bloober Team really evolved and made a much better game here.
Mm-hmm.
I think it still has a ways to go. But if you own Game Pass, there's no reason for you to not play this game, in my opinion.
I will say,
I wouldn't pay $60 for it.
What is it called?
$50.
Is it onboarding?
Onboarding.
I feel like it was very easy at getting me to understand the core mechanics of the game so far.
Yeah.
Like, there's nowhere where I'm like, I don't know how to use this ability. I don't know when I'm supposed to use it. And, like, that part's good. Like, I know what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm supposed to be holding LB the entire game and just looking for anything that pops up.
What else did they make, Jordan? The Blair Witch?
Layer of Fear.
Oh, Layer of Fear.
That's what it is.
Yes. Okay.
So they've made good stuff.
And they're on the up. They're on the up now, and it's good to see them make. I wouldn't consider it a hit, but I would consider it a good game, and I look forward to see what Bloober Team does in the future.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's enough of the Bloober Team news. Let's switch on over to the film side of you can't have an episode of the podcast without talking about games being adapted into film nowadays.
Never released. Never actually us watching something.
Yeah, always
just announced.
Yeah, just announced. So, Borderlands movie, Kevin Hart officially joins the cast. No, he's not playing Claptrap. This is from PD Oneto at IGN. Kevin Hart has officially joined the cast of the Borderlands movie. Hart has been cast as Roland, a character from the first two Borderlands games and the pre-sequel. The press release announced Hart's casting only references that Roland is an ex-soldier turned mercenary, which lines up with the character's backstory in the game. Hart will star in the movie with Cate Blanchett as the thief siren Lilith. The movie will be directed by Hostel director Eli Roth. Hostel? I thought it was an okay movie. Gearbox founder Randy Pitchford is an executive producer on the movie. Quote, "I'm thrilled to be working with Kevin," Roth said in the press release. Borderlands is a different kind of role for him, and we're excited to thrill audiences with the side of Kevin they've never seen before. He's going to be an amazing Roland. So, I do agree, or not agree, I do think Roland is the probably most serious character in Borderlands, so I thought it was odd to cast Kevin Hart.
Very strange, which makes me kind of question what they're doing.
Yes.
But maybe Kevin Hart's trying to branch out.
Yeah, but he did say he was trying to do some different types of roles.
Yeah.
Because he is typecast 100% in the Hollywood space.
Every movie, he's the exact same character.
Yeah,
and
same with The
that's
Rock.
the problem. But it would be interesting to see him take on a more serious role.
Yeah, I agree.
But
will this Borderlands movie be good, though?
That's the thing. Well, will it be serious, you know?
Yeah, it can't. Well, it has to be jokey in some sense. Maybe Marvel jokey.
Yeah.
A little more aggressive.
I don't know. My expectations for this movie is all over the place.
Yes, me too.
Or non-existent. I don't really know.
Yeah.
I'm just going to...
Borderlands as a movie, just I don't know how that translates.
No. Because it's got that comic booky style of humor, and I guess it works for Marvel and
maybe
DC sometimes. But it's just...
We'll see what they do.
I don't know what to expect.
We'll see what they do. Speaking of not knowing what to expect, though, Netflix is making a Tomb Raider anime. This is from Austin Goslin at Polygon. A Tomb Raider anime is on its way to Netflix, the streaming giant announced on Wednesday. According to Netflix's press release, the anime will be a sequel to the most recent reboot video game trilogy of the Tomb Raider franchise. As you might expect, the series will follow the game's iconic main character, Lara Croft, as she travels the world searching out new, more exciting, and more dangerous adventures. The Tomb Raider animated series will be written and executively produced by Tasha Huo, who is also working on The Witcher Blood Orange, a live-action spin-off of the popular fantasy series. Lara Croft's last trip outside of video games came in 2018 when Alicia Vikander, I don't know, brought the character to the big screen in a reboot directed by Roar Uthaug. So I don't know what to expect from this Tomb Raider anime either.
I expect quality. I mean,
the Castlevania anime was nice.
Yeah. If they stick to kind of that kind of
vibe,
yeah, I think it'll be good.
Yeah.
Again, with the Borderlands thing I said, my expectations don't really know where they are.
Yeah. But I like Lara. I think Lara Croft, like the nature of what she does could go good for an anime.
Good. Are you kind of? I'm speaking for myself here. I'm tired. I'm getting tired of video game movie news. Honestly, I just need to see something.
Yeah, because it's always
confirmation that
something is coming out.
Yeah,
because it is always this is being made, this is being made, this is being made. It's never this is coming out.
Yeah,
and I do agree there.
I think people always talk about people getting tired of superhero movies. I'm just getting tired of video game movies before they even happen. I just need something. Give me Cuphead,
Uncharted, just all kinds of stuff. Never ever seen it coming out though.
But I mean, I'm here for it. I'll watch it probably.
I will watch it. That's it for the news this week. Michael, Claire.
Yes, sir.
This next section of the podcast. This section of the podcast is called This Week in Gaming.
What do you do?
And it's a section of the podcast where we talk about, you guessed it.
Did I?
This Week in Gaming.
Wow.
The historical releases in this week in gaming. That's
Really?
important to note. So January 31st, Soul Calibur 5 in 2012. This was
Who
the
was the special guest in this
This was Ezio Auditore.
one?
So 2012, January 31st.
So hold up, what was Soul Calibur 4? Was that
Was
Darth Vader and Yoda?
Darth Vader and Yoda, I
Was
believe.
3 Link?
I think 3 was Link.
Okay.
Can't remember though. February 1st, nothing of note. February 2nd, though, shout out to Isaiah Roberson, Beast King 2015. It's Zay on Twitch, who was on the podcast a couple weeks ago. Digimon Story Cyber Sleuth in 2016.
You know, I keep seeing this game go on sale for the Switch. I want to,
Don't
but I know I'll sink so many hours.
Don't give Isaiah the satisfaction.
Well, no, I could straight up tell him I know that's a game I'd probably enjoy. So,
Yeah.
But that's why I'm staying away from it, because I know I'd enjoy it too much.
Okay. A year before, but a day later, February 3rd, Darkest Dungeon in 2015, one of Mike's favorite games.
A house favorite here. It
I
probably
met you
maybe
playing this
Thompson.
game.
Yes. What a night.
What a night.
Just finalized my order for the board game.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about the board game.
That's coming in.
Yeah.
We're getting the core game and the
I completely forgot about that.
expansion.
Frosthaven.
The blood something.
Yeah, Frosthaven is also coming in a month and a half.
Yeah, we're gonna have to do some board game related content. There's gonna be a lot of stuff.
I know.
coming out soon.
February 4th, Fire Emblem Awakening on the DS in 2013. That's nice. Grow Home in 2015.
I do not remember that game.
Oh, you don't remember that game?
Grow Home?
You play the little robot. It's cell shaded, and you climb the giant beanstalk, and you like jump, and it's very like ragdolly effects. Bring up Grow Home.
I don't know if I remember that.
Bring up a trailer for Grow Home so we can show it to Mike, because we got time. It's a short week
Go ahead
this
and
week.
continue that.
There's my burp. XCOM 2 came out in 2016 on February 1st. February 4th. That was 2016 XCOM 2, which it was a good game. I like that game.
I enjoyed watching you play
2
it.
years ago on February 4th, Apex Legends. It's been 2 years almost.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds right, but then it also doesn't.
Yeah, it feels like a year more, you know?
I don't know. It almost feels like 3 years to me.
Really?
Yeah, I feel like the game's been out forever.
No.
Because I stopped playing it so long ago.
Yeah,
I played so many games.
I love Apex Legends.
Solid game.
Pull it up. Pull up Grow Home for Mike here.
Educate me here.
You don't remember this game? Make sure you turn that down a little bit. Don't turn it up for the people. We need them to hear us. That needs to be a minimum volume.
Reflection.
So you don't remember this?
Ubisoft game?
Look at this little robot dude.
I do not remember this.
Skip forward a little bit. Skip forward a little bit. It should be on Game Pass. The game's great. The whole purpose is you're this little robot dude, and it's kind of Metroidvania-y, and you're just trying to climb to the top of this giant beanstalk, but it's a little bit puzzly as you unlock new abilities and you unlock new islands and stuff, and you're very ragdolly.
If you fall, do you just fall down like super far? Or?
You do, but there's checkpointing.
Okay.
There's a lot of
it's not,
checkpointing.
it's not like
You unlock like
getting over it.
yeah, you unlock teleporters and stuff.
Okay.
And you're trying to get off the planet. I think that's what it's called, Grow Home. You're trying to get back to your planet.
That looks alright.
It's a fun game, and it's short. It's only a couple hours.
Yeah.
I like it. It's on Game Pass.
Cute.
February 5th, Paper Mario, the OG in 2001. Year later, Serious Sam, the Second Encounter. I like those Serious Sam games. 2002. You ever play Serious Sam games?
No, I think I missed this.
Very much Doom style, but very jokey.
I'm familiar with it, but
Very
it's
jokey.
just I don't know why I didn't ever play him. I don't think any of my friends knew about it. I think that's why you end up picking up a lot of games that your friends play.
Yeah, they're exactly like Doom, but they're just super jokey.
Yeah.
Devil May Cry 4 in 2008. Don't play those games. Sorry.
It's a series I'd like to get into, but
yeah, just never got around to it.
Yeah.
Dead Space 3 in 2013. Looking
Series
forward.
I do not want to get into.
Looking forward to the. Now I forgot the name. I talked about it last week.
The horror space one.
Yeah, cryptocurrency. No.
Dogecoin to $1 though. To the moon.
Callisto Protocol. Callisto Protocol.
Protocol. Yeah.
Yep. Sly Cooper Thieves in Time in 2013 on February 5th. That's shout out to Trey.
2013. That's crazy.
Yeah, shout out to Trey. You're probably never gonna get another one of those games, Trey. I'm sorry.
I don't know, man.
Come on, man.
Everything gets remade eventually.
I don't know about that. You say that, but there's a lot out there that still ain't. February 6th, nothing really came out of note. So
kind of crazy. Good week.
Yep, that is a good week. That is it for this week in gaming. Let's move on to a game.
You guessed it.
Character 20 questions.
Oh, we're actually playing it?
Yeah, we're gonna play it. It's a short week. We got time.
Okay.
We got time this week.
Am I the one guessing? Or
No, I'm gonna think. Oh, I was way too close to the mic. I'm gonna think of
about time.
A character in my head. Now,
You do that.
we can discuss afterwards the legality of the if you cannot guess it, I'm gonna say it, and you're probably gonna be like, "That was dumb."
Bro, like
But I'm thinking of a dumb ass character in my head,
a character.
and we'll see.
Let's just do it.
I don't.
Let's just do it.
I don't know if this counts. Okay, we'll
Let's
do
just
it.
do it.
We'll do it, but I don't know if this should count. But
Nintendo.
okay. No.
See that?
Okay, hold up. Okay, no, it's not. But I just keep second guessing whether or not I should go with this character. But we're gonna do it. Do it. I'm laughing at myself because nobody knows my joke.
Here. Humanoid.
No.
It's not.
No.
Is it male?
No.
Female.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm cheesing. Video
Female,
exclusive cheesing.
barely a video game character and not Nintendo.
Yeah.
Stop it.
I gotta get a sip. Sorry.
What do you mean? Is this character
Funny.
hold on, more of a narrator than an actual character?
No.
I didn't.
That's 5 questions.
Yeah, I was thinking you did some dumb shit like that. My first thought was the Smash Bros. Announcer.
No.
That's the dumb thing that came.
That
to
would
my
have been
mind.
funny. That would have been a good one.
Yeah, but is it? Okay, I'll use this as a question. Is it along that same vein of dumbness as Smash Bros. Announcer?
Maybe. I don't know, man.
Then maybe I'm throwing out that question.
Okay.
Is this character in a game I've played?
Yeah.
In the past year?
Yes. For sure. Okay.
Not humanoid, so it's not a Just Dance character.
Not a just the dancer from. Yeah.
Game I played in the last year. Is it a game I played by myself?
Yeah.
So I didn't play this game with my friends?
Is that a question?
Well, my question is, was this a solo experience I had? Like Fire Emblem Three Houses. That's what I'm saying.
I mean, this is a solo experience. I don't know if that necessarily means you haven't played this game with your friends, though. Even Jordan is just perplexed. One can be both.
Hold up. Is this a chess piece?
Yes.
Is it the queen?
It is.
Oh, so good.
It is.
That was a terrible. Why did you? That's not even a video game.
I know,
character.
but yeah, the queen chess piece is in a video game. You know she is.
Yeah, but like
She's in. That's why I was like, I
That's
looked
so
down.
stupid.
I looked down there at the chess thing, and I was like, huh, the queen.
I can't believe I got it so fast, bro. It would have took me more questions to get to Mario. Is all I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, there was an obvious hint. And
Yeah,
you
but I
did
wasn't looking there.
a solo and a game that you
We're
played with
playing
your
a game
friends.
called Video Game 21 Questions. You think I'm gonna look at the chess
It
piece
says
set?
character 20 questions.
Oh, okay, fine.
That's it for character 20 questions. It was a queen chess piece. Dumbass.
So
pick.
stupid.
I told you would think it was dumb when I was
I'm
done.
just mad that I've spent so much more time trying to come up with answers to other ones, and I got that one. I hate it here.
That's funny. Okay, reader mail. You can get your questions read as well on the show by sending an email into synceduppod@gmail.com.
Putting it in the
The
write-in section.
The write-in sections of the Discord. You can do that. I should include that. Just like Fielding did. Hello, peeps. Here's the Guess That Quote game coming at you again. Let's see how you do. So, Jordan, I have the Gmail open with the answers. So, the first quote, their movies smack, but their game's IP is lackluster.
Who?
Okay, so you
Who
said
said
this.
it
You said this for
in the
sure.
context?
Because I don't really use the word lackluster. You use that more
You
than
don't
me.
have a verbose vocabulary, is what you're saying?
No, I definitely do, but I don't use the word lackluster.
I feel like you would definitely use that
That's
word.
not really a word I would use. Smack for sure, but we both use that. Lackluster. Now, what video game IP has movies that are good, but their games suck?
Well, clearly not Riddick.
Sonic? We talking about the Sonic the Hedgehog movie?
Ooh.
But
you would have said that.
would I have?
I think this is you talking about the Sonic movie.
It's you talking
It's
about
you.
the Sonic movie.
Don't
Don't give us a
hints.
hint. Don't give us a hint. Don't give us a hint.
I know this hand.
It's definitely you,
No, it's definitely you.
and it has to be the Sonic movie. Their movies smack, but their games
Hold on,
IP.
keyword movies here. There's only one Sonic movie, so it can't be Sonic.
Okay. What video game IP has multiple movies?
Let's think here.
Are we?
Resident Evil, but that wouldn't be it.
No, I bet that's it.
No.
Oh, that's
game
true.
IP is good.
Yeah, that's true. That's the opposite. That's the opposite. Their movies smack, but their games IP is lackluster.
Could be Marvel.
Oh, it's you talking about? No, it's me talking about Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3. It's me because Mike liked that.
For saying it was him.
Because Mike liked that game, so it's me talking about Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3.
But I don't know what the timeline of quotes he's using that from. No, don't tell us.
Don't tell us.
We'll probably figure it out.
Yeah.
I think you're correct. It's you. I'm not certain it's talking about Marvel's Ultimate Alliance 3, but it might be. I don't know what the timeline is.
Yeah.
When we play that game.
No,
I do agree with you.
It's.
Because I don't think I would have said that.
It's you talking about the Avengers game.
That would be much further down. But I don't know if I've publicly shamed the Avengers game yet. If I haven't,
okay, I'm
will.
locking in my answer. Mike talking about Avengers.
My answer is Tim talking about Ultimate Alliance 3.
What is it? It is me.
It's Tim.
Harry Potter.
Wow.
Okay.
I was right. It was you because I don't use lackluster that often.
Episode 4.
Wow.
Damn. But I'm excited.
Hogwarts Legacy was announced.
Yeah, Hogwarts Legacy was announced ages ago.
Yeah, but I don't remember us talking about it that early. Wow. Crazy.
But I like their games. Why did I say that?
Maybe. I don't
know. I like their games.
But I do believe you would say that. I do believe I would say the next one. They made it interactive for the dead guy too.
They made it interactive for. That's you talking about Among Us.
Ooh.
That's you talking about Among Us.
Could it be about any other game? Was Among Us that popping? We weren't even playing it in the 4th episode.
But we don't know if this is from the 4th episode. This could be new.
But I'm assuming Philly's going like 2 episodes at a time.
It could be.
So
you're trying to metagame a little bit.
Yes, I am.
If they made it interactive for the dead guy too.
Could it be Warzone? Could it be what battle royales are popping?
There's no other battle royale where you can do shit. I mean,
Warzone
could be. It could be. Yeah, could be you talking about Warzone.
What other battle royales are there?
Apex, no. Fortnite, no. Warzone, maybe. That's about it, bro. Fall Guys, no. Because you die immediately. And you just sit there and watch your music.
Because you gotta think, what games were we playing in the house? In the apartments?
I'm locking in you talking about Among Us. That's what I'm locking in.
It's not me and Among Us, but it's me talking about some other battle royale.
I'm locking in that answer.
And I want to say Warzone.
Okay. You locking that in?
I'm locking it in me for Warzone. Because that makes sense, right? Because Warzone was like in March.
Yeah, I guess
2020. So. I'm going to go with me for Warzone, and he's saying me for Among Us. Jordan? It's me for Warzone.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
It's because I always be saying dumb stuff. I know when I say dumb stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Feeling's got 5 quotes this time.
Yeah, I know. Man, so it's the size of a banana, and you can use discs? Wow.
That's another dumb thing I would say.
That's for sure you, but what the fuck are you talking about?
What's the size? It's not...
So it's the size of a banana, and you can use discs.
Wow.
It's you talking about the Xbox Series S.
But you can't use disc on the Xbox Series S.
It's you... Oh.
Yeah. Because the S would be the answer here, but you can't.
But they did the press thing where they showed the Xbox Series S being measured next to a banana.
But you can't use discs. But it's also the size of a banana. Yeah. The thing is, they don't add up here. And maybe I flubbed, but I don't think I did.
Yeah. Maybe
What else could it be?
It could have been typo.
I mean,
you can't use discs? Wow.
No, because I wouldn't say wow to that.
Yeah, you wouldn't say wow to that for sure. It's the size of a banana. You're definitely talking about one of the Xbox Series. You have to be, because they did that whole thing where everyone was showing it next to a banana. Everyone was showing it next to a banana.
It's got to be the Xbox Series X. What?
It isn't the X, because that's not the size of a banana.
It's not, but it can't be the X.
But okay, it's Mike talking about the Xbox Series S, and it was probably a hypothetical where, like, imagine like if I don't know, maybe I don't fucking know.
It's me talking about the Series X, but could it be anything else?
No. I think it's Mike talking about the Series S. I'm locking it in. Michael Clare talking about the Series S.
I'll say Series X. Yes. Give me the answer. Me on the X.
But it's not the size of a banana.
It's not the size of a banana. Why would I have said that? Maybe
you're dumb.
Before we got the references.
I don't know. Did he really? God damn it, Philly. We love you, man.
Maybe it was a really big banana.
Okay, so this next one is easy. I'll bet you $5 right here on the podcast.
Yeah,
All right, $5. We'll reconvene at the end of the year. That's 100% me because I'm the only one who throws bets out all the time.
I don't lead with money bets.
No, you don't. I'll bet you $5 right here on the podcast. All right, $5. We'll reconvene at the end of the year.
What did we place a bet on?
Oh, fuck. It was definitely like whether or not a game would get released.
Nope. I know exactly what it is. It has to have been the price point for the Xbox Series S. It's the price point of something.
No, it's me betting $5 that Breath of the Wild 2 will come out in the year 2021. Locking it in right now.
No, it's definitely the price point of the Xbox or the PlayStation. I couldn't tell you which one, but it's the price point of one of the next-gen consoles. Tim.
Yeah.
Locked in. Tim.
GameStop.
Topical.
Except for now, their stock is
No
crazy.
chance of that happening.
Yeah. So, I guess I owe you $5.
Hell yeah, Fielding coming in clutch. Bringing me that money.
Fielding? I take it back. I wish you a happy birthday. I did all that stuff, and now I gotta pay like $5 at the end of the show. I'm pissed.
Fielding, I might just send that money to you. Happy birthday.
I'm pissed.
That's your money, Fielding. You went and found those dollars.
Yeah. Okay.
We got a bonus round here.
One bonus round. At first, it was like a punch. It like punched my face and then caressed down my cheek.
That's me. I say caressed.
Yeah, that's for sure. Mike talking about that. But what punched? It like punched my face and then caressed down my cheek.
Would I have?
What? Pun? What?
Did I eat or drink anything on the pod?
You ate the Pokemon cereal, but I remember that whole conversation. It was not about that.
It was not that good.
At first, it was like a punch. It like punched my face and
Have
then
we
caressed.
ever eat anything else on the podcast?
No, just water, dude. Just some sip.
Maybe this isn't me. Has anybody else?
At first, it was like a punch. It like punched my face and then caressed down my cheek. No. Chance wouldn't say some shit like this. No, and neither would Isaiah.
What about Trey? Was Trey in one of the early episodes?
At first, it was like a punch. It like punched my face and then caressed down my cheek.
Hold up.
Could have been Trey.
Hold up. Here's a shot in the dark here.
Okay.
What was the first spoiler cast?
That was
Final Fantasy 7?
Yeah.
I think this is.
What?
I wasn't in that one.
No, it was me, Trey, and Chance.
Was Alan in that one?
No.
Okay.
Wait. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I'll join us for that.
I think it was one of you guys talking about Final Fantasy 7. Just in general, like some story event in Final Fantasy 7.
We talking about tears? We talking about tears? Yeah. No, I got nothing. And I think you said this though. I'm just gonna say Mike said it, but I got no context for you.
I'm saying anybody. Dude,
I'm locking it in. Mike said it, but I don't know the context.
I'll tell you what I would say it about right now. It's about Red Bull. It just hits you, and then it's like, oh, so sweet. But, dude, I have no idea.
Yeah, Mike said it. I don't know.
Fielding has stumped me. I kind of agree with me because of the word caress.
Yeah.
Because I love that word. But I have no idea.
Yeah, what was it? It was Mike.
Okay.
Oh, shit!
Dude, hell yeah.
What the fuck? Wow, Mike on drinking Red Bull.
So
wow.
I should get a point for that.
Yeah, I mean, you said I probably would if I was asking about right now consistency. Yeah. We take those.
A year later, and I still agree.
Yeah. What episode was that? Yeah.
We didn't have the mugs in episode.
Oh, I remember that now because we were in your room.
Yep.
We didn't have the mugs in
our room with that desk instead of this one.
Yep.
And I was drinking Red Bull.
Shitty mics, bad audio quality.
Yo, Rip Fielding listening to the old podcast.
Yeah, but thank you, Fielding, for getting these good quotes. We appreciate you for these. I love this game.
Can you Venmo that $5 directly to Fielding?
I'm sure I could.
Happy birthday.
I guess I could. Send us your Venmo in the Discord. Send it to me personally, Fielding. I'll Venmo you this $5.
God.
So next email from a new person. We haven't seen this person before, Miguel Lopez. Hi guys, I've been listening to y'all since November after hearing about you on the MinMax show. Thank you, Miguel. We appreciate you for doing that. That was the whole purpose of that MinMax. Well, it wasn't the whole purpose. It was to support those guys because I do love those guys very much and everything.
Two birds, one stone.
Yeah, everything that they do, and we'll probably support them at that tier again in the future. But I love everything those guys do, and I consume all of their content. So first and foremost, it was that. But secondly, it was to get some more people to listen to the podcast. So this is my first time writing in, and I have to say I love listening to you guys. The way you guys talk reminds me of how my friends and I talk about games and nerd stuff. Anyway, here's my question for y'all. What would you say, if any, was your dysfunctional relationship game this past gen? What I mean by that is the game that you started playing and actually enjoyed playing but stopped playing in favor of another game. Then you went back to it just to repeat the pattern over and over. As an example, mine was Yakuza 6. From the time I started playing it, I stopped and went back to it 5 times, completing another game after each break. Multiplayer and games as a service don't count because those are just meant to be revisited.
Yep.
There's
there's more, but let's start with this. Recently, I gotta say Valhalla, and I gotta get this out eventually, so I'm gonna get it out here.
Yeah.
Valhalla did me dirty. I lost like 10 hours of progress because of some save data corrupting, and then because it crashed playing Orlog too, because a very intensive part of the game is playing Orlog.
I gotta love Orlog.
And it just sent me back like 10 hours.
Tragic.
And I was just so defeated. And that was already after I had taken a break to play Cyberpunk. So I'll go back to it eventually. Don't know when. But if something like that happens again, I'll probably drop it again. But I'm not giving up on that game. I want to know how it ends so badly. I'm so invested.
Let me look at my abandoned list.
Oh, your abandoned list?
On GG.
I'm trying to think if there's any other games that
were shelved.
I had to come back to. I really don't shelve a lot of games. I mostly beat them or never come back to them.
Yeah.
And usually I beat them.
There isn't really any I think I've attempted to beat multiple times and not. I'm usually out and I come back. I guess technically Skyrim, but that wouldn't count. I guess that was last gen. I've played a bunch of Skyrim, but I've never finished the main story.
Really?
But that's not because I don't know. I just don't. There's just so many better quests to do.
Yeah.
And I'm just doing other quests there. I don't know. Maybe Skyrim. I guess I don't really have an answer for this.
I'm trying to think of it. I would say Arena, but that's one, like you said, meant to become, leave and come back to.
Yeah.
When there's new stuff. For me, it's got to be Valhalla. I played it 3 separate times.
Yeah.
Or I'm going to, because I know I'll play it again.
Yeah.
So, Valhalla for me, for sure.
Yeah, I don't really have one.
Tim really just kind of leaves it and then leaves it for good.
Yeah, usually do that. He says here, P.S. If you guys don't mind, you think you can give my book a shout out? I just self-published on Amazon/Kindle, and I'm trying to get the word out there in hopes of getting feedback/reviews. It's titled The Spirit Play and includes 2 novellas. The first one, The Spirit Play, follows various characters in limbo as they compete in a tournament by that same name. They're given God's gifts, special abilities to use against each other during the tournament. Only one can win. The winner gets to choose whether they're reborn on Earth, passage to heaven, or lordship in hell. It's a fast-paced, action-packed story. And the second novella is titled Halfway at the End and tells the story of husbands Axel and Xavier as they try to find each other during what might be the end of the world. The story jumps back and forth in time, showing how their relationship progressed until the present day. Keep up the good work. Also, this podcast is Bay. Look up Bay in Danish, which, by the way, is shit. Mig Lopez. This is also my pen/author name. Yeah, of course. Yeah, go. We're small. You're small. We're all small out here. Creators supporting. Shut the fuck up. Creators supporting creators. So yeah, The Spirit Play and Halfway in parentheses at the end. And go look those up by Mig Lopez. He said he's self-published on Amazon Kindle. That's a big deal in my opinion. So go check these out. He also included those things for us so we can read them if we want for free.
Are they in the email?
Yes, they are in our email.
I'll probably read them.
So we might check those out. So thank you, Miguel, for writing in. And of course, yeah, we don't mind giving your book a shout out. So
I think this is something we could promote more. Because we've grown our audience and fan base more. And I think this goes for anybody. I'm speaking for both of us here. Send in your passion projects, This is ours, and I think we'd love to share in yours as well, in whatever way we can be involved. If it's just shouting it out, that's awesome.
I want us to check it out.
This, I want to see what everybody is up to, because there's a lot of creative energy, and it's just awesome to see it supported like you guys have done for us. So if I can support Miguel, I'm going to do that, and that goes for everybody who listens,
Yep.
So let us know what you're doing. We tell you what we're doing.
Yep.
Make it a conversation.
Make it a conversation, and we might get back to you on The Spirit Play and Halfway in parentheses at the End by Mig Lopez. Look it up on Amazon/Kindle, and support our man. And might look into those and get back to you. And you can.
Unfortunately, Tim doesn't know how to read those. So.
I do know how to read, but I'm just not a reader, Miguel. But I will obviously shout out your book.
On the synopsis.
Lyle writes in, "Hello, Tim and Mike. The Witcher 3.
That says Tom.
I know it does, but I know it's a typo. The Witcher 3 convinced me to get a PS4, and Cyberpunk was going to be the game to push me to buy a PS5, but the game was a mess. Is there hope for Cyberpunk? Can it redeem itself through updates? And can you think of any other game that was a disaster at launch but found redemption? Thanks, Lyle. So,
yes,
Lyle, first and foremost, is there hope for Cyberpunk? Yes, 50%. Can it redeem itself through updates? I don't know if it's redeemable at this point. It depends on your definition of redeemable. think in terms of the public eye, there is no. In 6 months, people won't come back and talk about it in a good way. Everyone will always talk about this bullshit.
Yeah, I think
till the end of time.
I think it's stuck in as the poster child for a bad launch.
It will, just like we did with Halo Infinite at the beginning of this episode, it will be permanently hey, Halo Infinite can delay their thing after they've seen Cyberpunk. Hey, this person will delay that after Cyberpunk. You know what I'm saying? So that I don't really know. Is it a good game? Is there a good game there? I definitely think yes. And if you want to get a next gen console and you want to pick this up, I think you should. I think it's worth it, but just be prepared for those bugs. And if they fix those bugs, great. But it is a decent game.
I'm gonna rephrase Lyle's question here. Can CD Projekt Red redeem themselves? Not really. Can Cyberpunk 2077 be redeemed? Yes.
I don't know. I think I disagree.
Because I think the game has a better chance of being redeemed than the company right now. Because I think when Cyberpunk talks about whatever their next game is, people are going to be hesitant to get that excited. I know people are. They crazy.
Will, but if the game's good, that'll be redeemed.
I know.
That's why I think Cyberpunk is stuck in this spot.
I'm saying I think CD Projekt Red isn't going to redeem themselves by fixing Cyberpunk. I think it's going to take another release where they've learned, and then they'll be able to be good.
Yeah.
Again. Because I think the game can be redeemed perfectly fine.
I don't know. Everyone, because when talking about this, everyone will reference Cyberpunk. They won't reference CD Projekt Red. When they're like, oh, this game can be delayed, they will always reference Cyberpunk.
I think the people who are more invested in it look at this as more of a CD Projekt Red thing than a Cyberpunk.
Yeah, but as soon as CD Projekt Red makes a good game, we will still reference Cyberpunk as this big fucked up thing. We won't reference CD Projekt Red anymore, and we will still reference Cyberpunk as the poster child for a shitty release. I think.
I guess that's right.
And then any other game that was a disaster at launch but found redemption. Obviously, the number one is No Man's Sky, and I wouldn't consider that game a disaster at launch. Just not quite.
A disappointment.
Yeah, for a lot of people. It wasn't for me personally, but it was for a lot of people out there. And the most beautiful redemption arc I think we've ever seen and will ever see.
I'm trying to think of some more ones we don't talk about. Fallout 76.
No. It's better now, but I don't think it found. I wouldn't necessarily say it found redemption. It's still stuck in that.
Well, it's because nothing will get the same redemption No Man's Sky did.
No, yeah, I don't think there's anything that can touch that.
Things that are close.
What other games?
Avengers lost that hope for me.
Yeah, I don't know if Avengers can come back.
I don't know. Did Fortnite ever have a lull?
Yeah, when it first came out and it was just Save the World, everyone was like, what the fuck is this game? And it was bad.
But was it like... But I think that was what people expected it to be. And then it turned into what it is.
No, because no one really expected it to be... Because when it was like being announced and coming out, it wasn't really like a talked about game. It was kind of on the back burner. No one really talked about it. And no one... Yeah, because everyone was like, this just seems like an overcomplicated tower defense. And it just... There wasn't really any expectations out there. It was like, oh, it's epic. They made Unreal, so we'll play this. And they did, and then everyone was like, this is dumb. But then they came out, obviously, with a Battle Royale and completely changed the game. So I guess maybe Fortnite could fit this bill. But definitely No Man's Sky is the answer.
Is there any other good ones?
No, there's just not a lot of comeback stories, man.
For something to be on the scale of like No Man's Sky, it has to be extremely hype, extremely terrible, and then extremely great at the end. And there's just not many.
Yeah.
You can think of something like Among Us, who's missing one of those.
Yeah.
Which was extremely hype. You know, and so it's hard for a game to get all three.
Yeah. I agree.
And No Man's Sky is really the only one that's had the perfect redemption arc. And we'll probably keep talking about it every other episode for the next 7 years.
Yeah. They did win a game award for the best ongoing game. Trey Blackburn writes in, Tim, question for me specifically. Have you played the original Final Fantasy VII? And if not, do you plan on playing it? Do you plan on getting any more into the series other than the remake? No, and no.
Why?
Those are my type of games. I think it's very obvious. I've played a lot of those.
Are you going to play 16?
Yes, but that's because that's, again...
You don't plan to go to any of the old stuff?
No, it's new stuff. Because even 16 is more of the action. Yeah. It's less of the turn-based. And it's such a weird thing because I don't necessarily have a problem with turn-based combat in and of itself. It's just, I don't know, in that vein, it just doesn't do it for me. I've tried playing 10, 2, 9, random ones. They just have never done it for me. But Final Fantasy VII Remake, obviously my favorite game of all time, so there's that. And I don't think I plan to get any more. I guess Final Fantasy 16 I'll get into, but other than that, no, not really. But a question for both of us. What are some good puzzle games? I've been craving some real brain teasers recently. I've played through Portal 2, Antechamber, and a whole bunch of other ones, and I really want to play through The Witness after hearing Bob's top 5. Again, if you haven't watched that top 5 episode with Bob Beal, go back and watch it. It is a good episode. What are your guys' favorite puzzle games? I think The Witness is a solid answer. I think the Talos Principle is a really good puzzle game based off another one kind of based off perspective a little bit. I had one in my head before starting this pod. I should have wrote it down.
I really don't.
Baba Is You is an extremely good puzzle game that I think is okay. It's too difficult for me. I love playing through those with Noah, watching him play and trying to like do it. Baba Is You is like the most uniquely, I don't know, like made game. Like the concept of Baba Is You. Trey, if you haven't seen anything about Baba Is You, you should look it up. BABA is you, like YOU. I think it's masterfully designed. Like it is exactly what it wants to be, and I think it's a fantastic game. I think it's just I'm too dumb for it. But it really is like when you solve those puzzles, especially if you don't look them up, it's just like, wow, like what the hell? Like I can't believe that. And it really is super cool. So I think my highest recommendation, and Noah would agree with me, ask Noah about Baba Is You. He's been playing through it for about a year now. He goes on, maybe does a puzzle or two, turns it off, and he does that every once in a while. Definitely Baba Is You. Talos Principle is another one. I don't really have any other puzzle games like Shift. Shift was a good one, but it's just okay, I guess. I don't really have a ton of puzzle game recommendations. I mean, do you have any?
I'm googling best puzzle games right now. Just
Monument Valley is good.
Tetris, if you want to count it, that's my favorite.
Monument Valley is fantastic. Obviously the Portal games, but you said you played those. I have never got to around to Go. Limbo and Inside are very good ones, but I don't know if I consider
Lara Croft Go. I think I played that one.
It's okay.
It was pretty good.
You know what? Play the Hitman 3. You did say you're playing through Hitman 1 and 2. Hitman 3 feels like a puzzle game, like very aggressively. Fez, definitely. If you haven't played Fez, love that game. Extremely good portal game.
I'm looking through the rest
puzzle
of
game.
The medium is not puzzle.
Peggle.
I mean, there's not like a whole lot of them that I played. Even Fall Flat.
The Swapper was good. So Baba Is You, Fez, Talos Principle. I think. Return to the Obra Dinn. Everyone loves that game.
Keep Talking, No One Explodes.
That's a VR game.
2048.
2048. That's funny. Dr. Mario. The OG Mist. That's funny.
Minesweeper.
That's about it. I mean, we don't really have.
Yeah.
So, Talos Principle. What was the other one I said? Baba Is You, and
Hitman 3.
Hitman 3. There's a fourth one. It was on that Fez. Those are my recommendations for you. Spencer writes in with 3 emails. We're going to read through all 3. Dear Mike, who is your all-time favorite Pokemon? And if it isn't Jirachi, why keep on living this way? Stay classy. Spencer Trevette, Esquire.
To be fair, I don't know why Jirachi's your favorite. You're going to have to explain yourself. What a whack choice. I mean, Jirachi's cool. But it's got to be Gengar for me. But if we're
of course.
Second place would be Blastoise. But if we're not Gen 1 fanboying here, let me expand my brain a little bit. I'm not going to choose a starter either. That's basic.
I don't know.
I mean, it's pretty base level. I'm trying to think of like a real like solid, not normie pick.
Normie in the lingo now, post stock market.
The Tendy Man is coming.
Yeah. The Tendy Man.
Dude, I don't know. It's really just Gengar. I have nothing else.
You love Gengar.
Gengar is by far my favorite.
What is poppin'? I'm sitting here.
No.
What's poppin'?
Thank you.
I'm sitting here waiting for my car inspection to be over, and I couldn't help but notice how comfy my pants be. This week's question is, who do you think has the comfiest clothes for what they are doing in a video game? I doubt it's Mario. Overalls don't seem very efficient for jumping and bonking Goombas. As always, keep up the great work, Spencer T. I've always thought Breath of the Wild Link's clothes all look like really comfortable.
Yeah.
Like for some reason, the champion's tunic just looks dummy comfy.
I'm thinking.
Like I don't know, it just looks super comfortable.
I agree.
And then there's like other ones like Spider-Man and stuff, but I've wore super tight clothes, and I'm telling you right now, there's no fucking way that.
Yeah, but that's nano tech clothing, right?
I mean, in the MCU, yeah.
Yeah, but
not like generally. It's just spandex.
Yeah, you're right.
So it's like I don't know, Lara Croft, but she has those little hangy things. Those seem pretty annoying. And she's wearing jeans. She is a lot of the time.
Sometimes you got those shorts.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
The tight cargo shorts.
And the Uncharted dude too.
Wait, hold on. Did you say she wears jeans?
Yeah, she wears jeans.
She does sometimes. I guess sometimes.
And then Kratos is minimalistic. Just a couple of furs. Yeah, no way. Itchy, probably. And cold. Definitely cold. No, he's a god, though. I don't think he gets cold.
I'm gonna have to go with
Who? Dead air.
2018.
2018.
Dwayne Wade.
Dwayne Wade?
Yes.
Just a...
They're nice.
Why do I do this podcast?
Yeah, but I don't know if he had the pink ones there when he was playing.
Okay.
I guess there's
okay.
twice Wade jerseys.
Apparently, it's... Okay, Dwayne Wade in 2018. There's your answer, Spencer.
What did you say? You said...
Champions tunic. It looks comfy. Ayo, still writing in while watching the YouTube feed. Actually prefer the video version, but the audio on auto, and I have the audio on auto download in case I can't watch at work. I'm feeling pretty down in the dumps right now. Hopefully it isn't COVID. Spoiler alert, it was. If it is though, it will pertain to this week's question. What do you guys go to sick games? Mine tend to be a lot of roguelikes and Minecraft. If I have to quarantine, then maybe finding other time passing games would be worth it. Appreciate y'all, Spencer T. What's your go-to sick game? You got one?
Before we go to that, how many national championships does Link have?
Answer the fucking question, Mike. I hate you, dude.
Usually a Pokemon game.
For me, I don't have one. It's just whatever I'm playing at the time. Specifically, I think I tend to watch more movies when I'm feeling sick than actually play games.
I think it's fair. I watch a lot of TV, catch up on some.
Back in the day, I was sick really bad going to school, and I think I watched Black Hawk Down and Moon over and over again for like 3 days straight because that was that's all that was on. Because we had DirecTV, and they were just doing a marathon of those movies over and over again, and I was dummy sick.
You could just put on Game Show Network and chill. That's what I would do.
I was I was sick, like I couldn't move, and that's just what was on, and I just watched Moon and Black Hawk Down. And don't get me wrong, Black Hawk Down, good movie, and Moon is fantastic. So,
I think you fall in love with these movies simply because of how pivotal they were. And
have you seen Moon?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fucking good.
It's pretty good. But you just said so amazing.
It is. It's Moon.
It's not that good.
Yes, it is.
Nah. I'm sleeping, bro.
Yes, you are.
Exactly. Well, Spencer, I hope the COVID wasn't too bad.
I'm pissed.
But you never answered my question. How many?
He has no championships. Moving on to what you've been playing section. This is the section of the podcast where we talk about the games we've been playing. I've been playing the medium. Obviously, you have talked about that. We gave our thoughts on that already. Bro, I went and bought a Guitar Hero guitar for the Wii and been playing Guitar Hero 3. My fingers hurt, but it holds up, obviously. It's great.
I played Even Flow one time.
Even Flow. Yeah, super good. And then I busted out the Xbox 360 to play Chronicles of Riddick Escape from Butcher Bay, dude. This is one
release an impressions video.
This is my 33rd favorite game of all time. Yes, I'm obsessive with lists, so I know that specifically. And I love this game. I have for a long time, and I was worried it wouldn't hold up. Boot it up. This game holds up. It's like good.
A-list celebrities too.
Yeah. Exhibit, Vin Diesel, and who's the other guy?
Michael Rodder, whoever plays Yondu in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, that guy. They're in that game. Obviously, Vin Diesel makes sense because he's Riddick. But this game holds up. Like for 2004, the graphics are pretty good, and the hand-to-hand combat is really rough. But other than that, like I'm very much enjoying it. Anyone who knows me, I don't know about anyone who knows me, but people who've known me for a long time know that like Prison Break levels in games are like some of my favorite. I love like Prison Break levels. That's one of my favorite quest lines in Skyrim. That's my favorite mission in the original Black Ops. Prison Break levels are awesome, and this is just Prison Break the game. So I love this game so much, and it really does hold up. And I played it for like 6 hours today, and I'm gonna play it once we're done with this podcast and I get done editing. So, and the only way to play it is on 360 because it's not backwards compatible. It came out on the original Xbox. They remastered it and included it in the 2009 game Chronicles of Riddick Assault on Dark Athena, which I haven't played, which I might play post this. I'm considering it, and they included it with that, and the only way to play that is on Xbox 360 because it's not backwards compatible. So you got to bust out the Xbox 360, buy it on the digital store for $15, play Escape from Butcher Bay. I love that game. It is a cult classic. It has incredibly good scores, but it's impossible to play pretty much. And I would like them to remake these games, but there's not enough. They're not going to. There's not enough ask for this, and
I don't know
who's begging for Riddick games. So,
but everybody's begging for Vin Diesel in their video games.
Yeah,
so
like
maybe now is the time.
Yeah, maybe it is. I don't know. All right, what are you playing? Obviously, the medium.
Talked about the medium. Talked about Valhalla. Good game. I beat Age of Calamity finally because that was my game I returned to after
today.
Valhalla.
Or last night. You beat it last night.
I did beat it last night. I like it a lot. I like it a whole lot. Tim doesn't.
Nope.
He hasn't played it.
Nope.
And there's a
I
lot
played
of
it, but
really, really cool cutscenes between a lot of characters that you normally wouldn't see meet. And even the characters, the normal characters, like the moments that are shared between Link and Zelda are really cool. That Zelda has some cool moments with her dad. It's just really cool. And then there's a lot more playable characters than I expected there to be by the end. I think there's a cast of like 20.
It's a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah. And I'm sure you can play as the egg if you do all that post-game stuff.
Yep, you can. You can.
I saw how much stuff I need to do that, and I was like, I'm good. I'm done. But it was a really good game in my opinion. If you like the Muso games at all, definitely give it a shot.
No reason or not.
Yeah. I think it's the best one I've ever played. That might change when I play Persona 5 Strikers, but till then, phenomenal. I loved it. It was good.
It was good.
That's all I have.
That's all we have for this show. This episode of there's a thing flying through the air and it's bothering me. Okay. This episode of the Synced Up Podcast, that's all the news we got for you this week. It's been a short week for the news, but I think we more than made up for it in the back half of the show with the reader mail and stuff.
I think.
Thank you, Miguel. Thank you, Fielding, for that game. Again, if you want to keep doing that, we'll keep reading it because it is damn cool. Also, don't forget in the Discord, message me. I'll send you this $5 that I'm miking out because of you. God. But happy birthday. Happy birthday, Fielding. And happy birthday to anyone else whose birthday is today if you're listening to this. Fielding isn't, he's not the only one that exists in this world. But thank you for listening or watching this episode of the Synced Up Podcast. Again, give us that like, that sub, the review on Apple Podcasts specifically. Please follow us on Twitter at synceduppod. Do all the stuff. It very much helps us at this specific level that we are at. We've had a tremendous amount of growth since we started this a year ago, but we need more growth if we want to keep on going.